Expanding Your Search and Stopping for Directions podcast with Brent Bailey. And at the tech booth, Jody Cook-Bailey and Luke Cardiel. We are growing our circles of connections and knowledge together with encouraging conversations and positive communications. And now, Brent Bailey.
Hi, and welcome to Expanding Your Search and Stopping for Directions. We got a great show planned for you today. We are starting a presentation, if you will. We're helping to promote a movie by our good friends Dr. Michele and Mark Sherwood, and they produced a movie about her life, and it's entitled The Prayer List, Shattered Olympic Dreams. And we're going to be interviewing the cast all this week. We've got great shows planned for you to talk about them. Wednesday, Dr. Michele's going to be with us, and she's actually the focal point of the movie. It's about her and her life and how she overcame everything. And so this is a special week of shows promoting a movie that's coming out this Saturday, the 21st. It's coming out, and it's called The Prayer List. We're going to get to it in just a few minutes. But first, joining me over at the tech booth is Jody and Luke. And guys,
let's do this.
Let's do this.
Let's
All
do
right.
it.
Yep, let's do it.
So we've got, you know, I've always thought it would be cool to do stuff like this where you promote movies and things like that. And now we're getting our chance to do it. So
we're on the junket.
We are. Yes, it's like a
We're
press
part of
junket
it.
tour. That's true. It's true. All right. Well,
I've never heard that word before.
You've never heard the word
press
junket? It's a press junket?
What
You've never
actors
heard
do.
that?
Oh, like when they go on Jimmy Kimmel or something?
No, that's different. Press junket is where they're sitting in a room, and so they basically what they do is they set up all the reporters in different rooms from all these magazines and newspapers, websites, things like that. And then the actors just rotate through.
Right.
So it's usually in a black room with maybe the poster behind them or something, and it's usually somebody you never heard of sitting there talking to them. Sometimes it's people from Entertainment Tonight or one of those kind of things. But a junket is where they just it's like speed dating. They give them, you got 4 minutes. Go.
Interesting.
That's a junket.
I did not know that.
Yeah, me neither.
And now you're smarter. All right.
Well, it's about time.
There we go. So, all right. So what's going on in the country today? This is like one of our most popular segments. Is when we talk about things that's going on in the country today.
So I'm going to throw people off a little bit. Today is National Indiana Day.
Oh, it's the Hoosier State Day.
It is the Hoosier State.
We know some Hoosiers.
We do.
Happy Hoosier Day.
Hoosier Day. So Indiana.
I wonder what a Hoosier is.
Yeah,
I don't really know what it is.
If you know what a Hoosier is, explain it down in the bottom right there.
Let us know.
Tell us what a Hoosier is.
Yeah.
Educate us.
Maybe it's just a citizen of Indiana for all we know. But
right.
It's just an unusual term. So.
But if you're from Indiana, whether you live there or not, today's your day. So celebrate.
That's right.
So, and then we'll save our favorite for last. National Button Society. No. National Button Day. I kind of got ahead of myself. That's what it is, also National Button Day. I know.
There you go.
I was like, do we mention that one or not?
No.
What is that? What is it?
Are we talking about like buttons?
No.
Or are we talking about like
we're talking about the
buttons?
buttons that, you wear on clothing.
Like this
That
type
you
of button.
Kind of get ripped off and burst and all that kind of
Exactly.
stuff. Yeah. Okay.
So the way to celebrate National Button Day is to make sure, first of all, most people by this time, at least on the East Coast, are already in their clothes that they're going to wear for the rest of the day. So if you are in something that has buttons, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Sure, no problem.
Very much.
And
right.
if you're not, well, maybe you need to go home and change and get something with buttons.
You know what buttons are? Wow. Buttons are the reminder that you're not the same weight you used to be.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, when COVID was going on, a friend of ours posted, it said, I know you're at home and you're in sweats, but you really should be putting your clothes on every day because COVID is going to convince you that all is right in the kingdom when it is not.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't like button clothes. Anyway, but you can also celebrate. I mean, there are people that collect buttons, different types
Really?
of buttons.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. They
Rock
do.
on.
Well,
Yeah.
it's funny to
Rock
me
on.
because people collect beads too. So like buttons and beads and
and-
stuff.
To each their own.
I mean, honestly.
Exactly.
So let's
To each their own.
our food day is
It's a great one.
it's
a great one. Yeah.
National Fast Food Day.
Well, it's like our kids are like they celebrate this every day.
I was gonna say,
so-
yeah. Fast Food Day is, every day for some people.
National I don't feel like cooking day.
I mean,
Exactly.
so the question of the day down in the comment section: what is your favorite fast food restaurant?
Well, you know what? Friday we talked about. It was Friday that we talked about fast food restaurants making healthier choices.
yes,
in
we
their
talked
menu.
about the McPlant chicken.
McPlant,
and
yes.
The McVegan.
the Mc. It might be.
The McDirt.
But then Pizza Hut has plant-based stuff. But anyway, go ahead, Jody. What were you
Anyway,
gonna say?
I mean, that's what I was going to say. It's just, if you don't like fast food because it's not healthy, well, you can now partake of it. So,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I don't know how healthy it's gonna be.
Honestly,
I mean,
there's a few fast food places I can live with, but I try to stay away
know.
from it.
it's
not-
God's chicken.
not good for you.
Chick-fil-A is
Chick-fil-A,
and,
Wendy's is okay.
Wendy's is good.
and let me say this.
In-N-Out Burger is awesome.
I'm
I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
get really, sometimes I will be in a fast food line and I'll go, this is not fast food, because the lines, it just takes forever.
It's slow food, isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
slow food.
Yeah.
But I will say, though, when I have used the app to pre-order my food
Yes.
and I just go and park, that's a phenomenal idea.
Right?
I
Yeah.
mean, that is fast food. You could do fast food at Panera. You could do fast food at
That's multiple.
lots of different
That's
places.
multiple
I mean,
correct
it's
answers
great.
there. So
I mean, great idea.
it is.
So,
It is. So happy National Fast Food Day. Let's talk about something that's really sweeping the trends right now.
Right.
This is the most popular trend when it comes to food trends in 2020. What do you think it is? Any guesses?
a specific.
Have you
food-
heard of? Okay, go ahead. Guess.
No, I
do you think
don't
it
know.
is?
I was going to say
The pop-
Is
making
it-
something.
It's a
but-
popular food trend of
Is
2020.
it called mukbang?
No.
Because that's like where they eat. They'll have like a mic, and they'll eat food in front of a camera,
and they make the
and
food
it's
noises.
That's
and you just
disgusting.
watch people
That
eat.
is.
That's like a real thing. That's like
That's
a popular thing.
That's
on the
that
internet.
ASMR kind
Kind
stuff.
of, but it's
Yeah.
more about like the food that they're eating than it is. Like
If
the
you don't know
sound.
what ASMR is, Google it.
I
It's
don't even know what
it's fascinating. Where they make
Yeah, some of it's pretty cool.
Well,
some
that's
of it is.
fine,
It's a
but-
relaxation technique. Anyway, that's not it though.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
called the hot chocolate bomb.
Oh,
Okay.
I
Have
saw,
anybody
yeah,
heard
I
of
saw
it?
those. I saw
I
that.
It
think
is
so. Tell
it's
me.
a big, basically hollowed out chocolate ball of milk chocolate,
Okay.
and in inside of it is full of marshmallows. And you take a cup of hot milk and you stick the chocolate ball inside of it, and of course it begins to melt. And when it does, everything pops out, and you have hot chocolate.
Oh wow! Look at that.
So it's if you've got any ideas of how to do one, of course TikTok is making
Is the
this
one,
as
yeah,
popular as it is. You can go on TikTok and just put in hot cocoa bomb, and there are ways to make it, how it works, and things like that. And the stuff they have on there, watching them is pretty cool because the top kind of just melts down, and then all of these big dry marshmallows just pop out of the top and then
That's
settle
so
down.
Cool. We need to do that.
Yeah, we do.
Our
is
kids
cool.
would love that.
Why
you
is
would love that.
why can you find anything on TikTok? Really, recipes now?
Seriously.
Well, I don't. I
That's
mean,
all.
yeah.
No, I mean that's cool. It's
It is
cool.
Yeah, well, anyway. Also, if you notice, if you've been out and about, and regardless of what your political opinion is, Starbucks has the red cups out right now.
Oh,
Really?
I mean,
Already?
Yes.
What's
They,
okay, never mind.
Well, I mean, there's some people that say, I'll never go into Starbucks again because their political points of view and things like that.
Yeah.
I personally like Wawa's coffee better, and they have red
Right.
cups year-round. Hallelujah.
do.
But anyway, but the red cups have returned
Yeah.
for the Christmas season, obviously, for Starbucks, and so they're out and about, so you can run in and get one of those. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go pick yourself up a pumpkin spice latte.
Right.
you're so trendy.
Yeah, I
You
know.
are. Yeah.
Go
All
get
right.
a pumpkin spice bomb.
Yeah, right. All right, that's what's going on in the country right now. Let's expand your search. My first guest today is one of the cast of the brand new movie coming out this weekend called The Prayer List: Shattered Olympic Dreams. The story of Dr. Michele Neil Sherwood, and he is playing Jim, the best man, to her future husband in the film, Mark Sherwood. And he is also the morning show host at Mix 96.5 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Please welcome to the program KC Lupp, everybody. KC, so good to have you on the program.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for doing this. I'm really excited about the movie, and I'm the cynical one in the movie that doesn't believe anything she says.
Yeah, I kind of gathered that when we were watching the trailer, and we're going to show it again here in a few minutes, but you're the kind of one that's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, well, yeah, and when you see the trailer, and you know too, sir, that it's a very hard to believe story, and how she found her path through all of these trials and tribulations is truly amazing. It's breathtaking.
Yeah, I know that when we met Dr. Michele several years ago now, she was so, the first impression is just it's all muscle, and then when you start talking to her, it's like, oh my gosh, there are a lot of layers here. And then when I heard about her story, I couldn't believe everything that we discovered.
Yeah, it's exactly. You could have played the best man, because that's what I do in the movie. Is, we're getting ready to have the wedding, and it's one of those things. We see the prayer list, which you'll understand when you see the movie on how that came about. But every notch that we talk about, every piece of the story, gets almost more unbelievable. And she's a martial artist. I knew that about her. I didn't know all these other things. So I would have to take them aside and ask, Dr. Mark, did we make this up for the movie? And he's like, no, that really happened too,
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about you. How did you get involved in this? How did that happen?
Well, I'm really fortunate to know a lot of people in the business. I've done radio and television, and Stevie, who's directing it and producing it and writing it, we know each other, and he had asked me, said, I kind of wrote this part with you in mind because of how you are, your voice. Now, he didn't write it for me, but he kind of wrote it with my attitude towards it. And he's like, would you be interested? I'm like, oh, in a heartbeat. Yeah. So I only knew one other person on the project. And it was just a true blessing to be able to do it. Really was.
And so you didn't know the Sherwoods at all?
I didn't know the Sherwoods at all. And probably from meeting them, after you meet them, you felt like you've known them your entire life.
That's
They're
right.
So kind and so giving. And like you said with Dr. Michele, it's not all muscle, but when you first meet them, you're like, they're so cool. I want to be them when I grow up. That kind of thing.
Exactly. That's so strange though, because Tulsa is like the biggest small town in the world, and it's almost like you start talking, everybody knows everybody there. So
it's true. Yeah.
Okay, so in your walk of life, you're obviously on the air a lot, radio personality. When it comes to filming a movie, did you have to take time off, or was it just really tight scheduling? How did that work? Because a lot of us have always dreamed of being on a movie set.
It was very tiring, because I get up at 3:16 in the morning, and we would shoot for a very long time, sometimes however long it takes. And it's funny, I was a stage actor for a long time. I did musical theater. I toured with Donny Osmond and Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat for 3 years. Stage acting is very different than movie acting. And I always had to remind myself to bring it down a little bit, because the camera is right here, and the microphone's right there. But it was a very tight schedule, but it was also, you'll see from the movie, and we have a behind the scenes video too that is up, I believe, on IMDb right now. It was a joy to be on. Everybody became such good friends, and being able to just tell a really cool story. It's such a happy place to be, even though you've been working for 10 or 11 hours during the day.
Yeah. Okay, so what was your takeaway from the movie? What did you get out of the messaging and the story? What was it that you got from it?
How much time do we have, Brett? Seriously, there's so many levels to it. I'm a martial artist. I got my black belt almost 10 years ago now. I started a little bit late getting my black belt. So Michele's martial arts and her Taekwondo training was fascinating to me. The things that really struck it with me, that continued the conversation after we shot the film, were things like, I can't believe she didn't give up. I can't believe when things were bad that they actually got worse. I can't believe she hid things from her parents just to make payments to them. They thought she had a great job. She had 2 small paying jobs and living out of her car. She kept getting knocked down and knocked down and knocked down. And this, it wasn't a thing of hope, I guess of faith, of just taking the steps forward and knowing somehow that there's some higher power helping her through this and getting her to where she wants to be, not really knowing where she's going. And that's what I took from it. And to talk to Mark, Dr. Sherwood, about it, he didn't know either. And through this prayer list, that's a real thing. All of this is real. They found each other. And that, it blows me away when you hear a real story like that, because we're so numb to it. We're so used to seeing it in a 2-dimensional screen on YouTube, things like that. And this was, that's what really hit home.
All right, our guest has been KC Lupp, and he is playing Jim, the best man in the movie The Upcoming Prayer List. Thank you for your time today. Let's take a look at that behind-the-scenes footage that you were talking about right now.
What do you feel like when you're standing next to the actual Dr. Michele? You guys joke about that a lot. What do y'all say?
Well, it's kind of funny because, especially when I put with the glasses on, I feel like we're sisters, and she said it herself. It's neat. It's neat to have to play her and having her in the same room. And the funnier thing about it was, I actually went to her clinic like 6 or 7 years ago, and I met her then, and then all this time to come back and play her, that's a little mind-boggling.
I love this character, because he's a goofball like me, but he's the one that questions everything, because if you watch this film, you're gonna go, no way. There's no way that she did all of that. And then they found each other and how perfect they were for each other. Yeah. I mean, seriously, with every story, it builds up and builds up to the point where my character doesn't believe it, that my buddy would find somebody that's literally a superhero.
Yeah, and I love that Brian and Julie just still don't believe it, and they've been a part of the story the whole time.
That's true. I also believe the same thing she believes, and I believe that God took her from a horrible situation, and she has just been blessed beyond belief at this point in her life. And she's using these struggles and, again, her trials that she's been through to encourage other people and to help them not feel shame anymore. And I just think that's super inspiring and encouraging. The things she went through was just insane. And again, seeing where she is now, it's a beautiful story of redemption and just faith in God.
Definitely being the creep, the villain, is something different that I'm used to. I'm not used to playing those type of roles. To really be part of someone's real life true story and to be that bad guy, because I'm really not a bad guy, has allowed me to really grow in my art. Can't wait for the premiere. I can't wait to share this to my friends and family, especially people that are not faithful or don't have Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. I pray that the seed plants them and shows that the people who are going through depression and hurt from this situation, that they can be healed too. They can have restoration and resurrection, and God will do the same for their lives like they did for Dr. Michele.
For me, the story of her trying to be an Olympic hopeful is such a crazy story in itself, and to have a story with adversity feels relatable. And when you have someone that can give you hope to move on to something else, and there's still roadblock after roadblock and still great things in your future that's been laid out for you. I mean, that's really what the story is, and it's I found many times just feeling a tingling sensation and just like, yeah, I need to go work and try harder and be a better person. It's an amazing story of inspiration.
Did you guys find? Go ahead.
Oh, I just loved our couplehood, how we were able to give her a little push, little push in the direction she needed to go. And she took that and didn't take the generosity and keep taking it. She took it and made it her own. And it makes you step back and think, if I could do one thing for a person to push them forward, how far could
That's
it take them?
what I was going to say, because I found, and we've talked about this offset too, is that I go home and it brings a hope and a different level to me and my relationships that I've been talking about this already, and I can't wait for people to see it and have those conversations.
It's interesting, you all mentioned hope, and it's truly that both Michele and I, we want to inspire hope in people. So we like to say we're hope dealers, and we want to make people hope dealers. So perhaps that's the message of the whole movie, just kind of, giving people a nudge, like you mentioned, just a nudge to go forward and be all they're supposed to be. Because I think we all agree that the world at this point in time is looking for something, someone, and a reason and a purpose. And if we can draw that out of everybody by all of our efforts here, I think it's been a worthy cause.
You've got to see this movie more than once, because you're going to find out more things about yourself, whether it's a beautiful love story, whether it's overcoming the most awful things that could happen in someone's life, and the fact that you say this really happened to someone. That minuscule thing to you is so overcomable, and it's such a story of hope and love. I think it's magic.
As a father of 2 kids, you want a story that everybody can watch, and you can be someone that was in a tough situation and you see yourself in Michele, or you're a parent and sending your kid off to college and you see your child as Michele and you hope those things don't happen and they can overcome, or you see friends in Brian and Julie, or the friend that you can't convince in Jim, and there's just so many relatable characters in this, and it's just a good story of adversity and braving the fire and knowing that there's a plan laid out for you.
I would want people to take away that a lot of the sacrifices we make, the pain we endure, and all those chapters in our life, the good, the bad, and the ugly, they're not in vain. That if we give them to God, that He's gonna use those really dark, ugly, hurtful periods of our life for Him, and that He's able to restore us. I believe this film is about restoration. I mean, she comes from the bare bottom, wanting to kill herself and just end it all, to meeting the men of her dreams, to having her practice and being successful and happy. So that's my takeaway, that there's a way out, and God wants a beautiful ending for all of us.
All right, my next guest gets to be the villain in the upcoming movie, The Prayer List, and you saw some footage of him throughout there, and we're really kind of somewhat intimidated to have this gentleman with us today. He is the owner and online coach at and a leader at the Temple Construction LLC, and he's a brand ambassador at Gracie Essentials. And now, obviously, you can add acting to his resume. I'm really excited to have him with us. Please welcome David Nguyen. David, man, your work in this movie looks so incredible. I mean, the trailers and the things that we've seen looks really good.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Bailey, Mrs. Bailey. I appreciate the time and the recognition. And it was great, because I was able to become something that I'm normally not. So to dig deep in the craft, that I've probably seen those type of characters in my lifetime, from being young with my dad, having that same military, Vietnamese war veteran kind of mentality. I was able to adapt some of that, and then being around martial artists and things like that and that nature, I was able to adapt some of those characters to become that.
Yeah, that kind of brings us to this first question. I know that in the movie you're playing like a sensei type of a character named Master Cho. You do have a background in martial arts? Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh yeah, I currently do martial arts right now, mixed martial arts. I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I take Muay Thai, boxing, judo, whatever our professor instructor has us for that day. I compete professionally for Super Submission Hunters, which is a jiu-jitsu grappling tournament. And I'm doing a lot of training with some high-level MMA guys out there. So it's a lifestyle for me. And I was able to transition that mentality and that discipline and that kind of that egotistic kind of martial artist, right? That we've all seen on TV shows and previous past other movies. So some of that, they're out there. Those master toes are out there too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it is very cheap, but there's also the positive side of those type of masters as well.
So you are chosen to play this character, and from what I understand, and what Dr. Sherwood Mark told me is that this guy is just the villain of the movie. Is there any redeeming qualities about him throughout this thing, or is he just a bad guy?
I had to really be a bad guy. I had to be that jerk, you know. I had to be that individual that made people feel uncomfortable, but also I was taking a lot of anger and aggression. I was being sexual. I was just being that non-godly character individual, right? The stories of creeps that you hear about that impact a lot of lives out there in a negative way, that part grew up in a negative environment themselves. You know what I'm saying? To adapt that type of character, they think it's okay. Because there's some cultures think it's okay. I'm saying to behave that way and treat people wrong.
Right.
But obviously it's not right in this culture.
All right, so our guest right now is David Nguyen. He is playing the villain in the movie. And let's talk about you for a little bit, though, before we really get into the message behind the movie. You are actually the leader and owner and coach at something called Temple Construction, LLC. Now, I know what it is, but our audience is probably thinking, is this guy build houses or is he building churches? What is it? Tell a little bit about what you do.
Thank you for asking me about that, because without that, I would not be here. And as God uses his people for light and for his purpose, you know, you got to go through the struggle. So I went through a lot of destruction growing up. As you heard, like my dad, mom came from Vietnam War, 1975, fall Saigon, came as refugees to this amazing country, United States of America. After fall Saigon, my parents came here, and I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana. I grew up as the only child, grew up in the neighborhood. My dad and mom were like hard workers, trying to open restaurants and own businesses, but always struggling in the society and environment. And me being the only child growing up in that neighborhood, and me and my energy and my personality type, I was always getting into a lot of trouble. Always wanted more, always had a work ethic, but I was just in the wrong direction in life. So I did bad things, from being gang affiliated, stealing, doing drugs, whatever you name it, beating up people, getting into fights, mistreating people, environment, attitudes, and characteristics I grew up in before I got saved by Jesus Christ. So I got saved by Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, when I was 24. And when that happened, obviously I got a real connection with God, what it really meant. I got saved at a church called Joyful House of Prayer. My pastor prayed over me, and I felt an uplifting load off my shoulders.
Yeah.
I cried on my pastor. I couldn't hug him so hard. I put like nail prints in his back. He remembers telling me that. And from then on, I was born again. And I gave my life to Jesus Christ. I was perfect, but I went through that. So the transition I went through, because I was always athletic growing up, playing like sports, football, basketball, in high school and stuff like that. I started working out more. I started going to the gym more, because I used to have like bad characteristics. I was overweight, had a bad liver. My dad died, so we already had a bad liver in my family, and mixing drugs, alcohol, smoking, that doesn't help. So when I went to the doctor, they told me I need to turn my life around. So I went clean, started hitting the gym more, started loving that energy focus. God got me a job in the restaurant industry for having a felony case. He showed me favor after being saved. Greatness, come on. And I used to do praise and worship at church. And one of the songs was talking about how God is in your heart, is your temple.
Yeah.
So from there, I was like, man, after resigning from the restaurant industry, working there for 8 to 10 years as a general manager, developed myself in business, developed myself in that world of service, I wanted to take the leap of faith and go more towards health and fitness and help my life, because my dad died from stage 4 liver cancer. You know what I'm saying? When he died from stage 4 liver cancer, in my arms, in my house, you know, around my family members, my dad was everything to us. He was our Superman. Even though he was an alcoholic, even though he smoked cigarettes, even though he had that lifestyle, it was a sacrifice to myself and my family. So what brought Temple Construction was this. I didn't want to be that typical gym bodybuilder guy, you know what I'm saying, ripped and, hey, let's get swollen muscles. I was more than that. I was the internal transformation from within out, from my mind, heart, and soul and spirit. So that's where the birth came with Temple Construction. We're all spirits. We live in the body, which is our temple, created for construction, not destruction. So it's really a temple for spirit. temple construction.
Awesome. So now let me just ask you this as we start to wrap this interview up. What was your takeaway from the movie when you read the script? And I assume you haven't seen it yet. So what was your takeaway?
Honestly, I was very honored to be part of that project. When I found out it was a villain, I was like, I'm really going to have to dig deep. This story is amazing. The story would all be part of someone's life journey being retold. The story of salvation, the resurrection of Christ in you. He can change anybody's life if you focus on him. No matter what background, what struggle, sacrifice you go through. If Dr. Michele did it, she's showing that others can do it too. No matter what, speak up for yourself, stand firm. Because a bad situation may happen in your life, just like Dr. Michele, she can turn around. She's showing that you can turn around too. Now she's doing great things, showing a great life through Christ and doing great things for the community. And through this project to help impact lives, especially women that need a voice. Women that need to be secure themselves and stand up and speak and not live in fear their whole life.
Amen. David, we just can't wait to see it when it comes out on the 21st. We're so excited to see it. Your work in it so far that we've seen looks amazing. Thank you for coming and being on the program today, and we wish you nothing but the best.
I appreciate your time. God bless you guys, and I hope to see you guys soon. The release is going to come up the next couple of weeks, so be ready for that.
Yeah, we're ready for it. So we'll see you on the big screen.
All right, thank you so much.
All right.
God bless you guys.
Take care. That's David Nguyen, the Master Cho in the upcoming movie. And now let's stop for directions. As we're promoting this movie, the overwhelming message behind it is you can do it. You can rise from the ashes of setback. You can rise from things that have done their best to ruin your life. Your dream has been crushed or whatever. And that is something that is inspirational for movies like this to movies like Rocky to, remember the Titans. We could just keep naming movies that are inspirational this way. But this is an old message. This message has been around for millennia. In fact, Paul actually wrote something very similar to this in the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 13. If you see some athletes, they put it on their eye makeup or on their clothes or on their jersey or on their shoes. Philippians chapter 4, verse number 13 says that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Now, I want to say this real quick. Christ doesn't do it for you. He strengthens you so that you can do it. That's what I want to get across to you today. You can. You can. You have it in you. Even if it's something new, something overwhelming, something that you've never done before, you can do it. Even if it's something big and it's daunting and you can do it. Even if it's impossible and it's something that you can't feel like you can overcome, today is the day to say to you, you can do it. Why? Jesus lives in your heart, and he's strengthening you to be more than you are right now. Don't be afraid. Rise to the challenge. Get up and do it. I know that if you accept that challenge, he's faithful to make sure his side is fulfilled, which means the strength will be there when you need it. That's how good our God is. That's going to wrap it up for the show today. I want to thank Jody and Luke for another great job over at the desk. I want to thank our guests, KC Lupp and David Nguyen, for their input. I really can't wait to see them in this movie. It looks fantastic, and we just are so thankful to them. For more information on the movie, you can go to theprayerlistmovie.com. Check it out. It drops this Saturday, November the 21st. If you'd like to schedule a viewing in your church, wherever you're going to be seeing it, at a theater near you, check your local listings, go to theprayerlist.com, and make that happen. God bless. We'll see you Wednesday for Dr. Michele Sherwood, the person who the movie is all about. I hope you found what you were looking for as you took the time to expand your search and stop for directions. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks for joining us today. Connect with us on @ExpandingYourSearch on Facebook and Instagram and @ExpandingSearch on Twitter. Relive any of our episodes on YouTube. We're available wherever podcasts are found, including Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. You can also download the Direction Ministries app on iOS, Android, Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. Take some time today to expand your search and stop for directions.